Mark, I want to ask you something that I don't think we've ever discussed openly on this podcast.
Okay, now I'm nervous.
When you try to say something like gonna instead of going to, or wanna instead of want to, or dunno instead of I don't know, what does it feel like inside?
Honestly,
Honestly?
it feels like I'm performing, like I'm putting on a costume that doesn't belong to me, like I'm trying to be someone I'm not.
Yes, and that feeling has a name. Almost no one teaches it, but every single B2 and C1 learner has experienced it. We call it the imposter accent.
The imposter accent.
The exact feeling you just described, the moment you try to use the natural reductions, the natural rhythms, the natural sounds of native English speakers, something inside you protests. A voice says, "This isn't you. You're being fake. You're pretending to be American. You're pretending to be British. Who do you think you are?"
And so the learner pulls back, goes back to the careful textbook pronunciation, the fully articulated going to, the fully articulated want to, which is grammatically correct but sounds slightly robotic to a native ear.
And here's the painful trap. They want to sound natural. They know that gonna is what native speakers actually say. They've studied it. They understand it. But the moment they try to use it themselves, the imposter feeling kicks in, and they retreat to the safer textbook version, which keeps them sounding non-native forever.
So they're caught between two bad options: sound stiff and correct, but obviously non-native, or try to sound natural and feel fake. Both options feel wrong. Both create discomfort.
And almost no one in the English learning world addresses this directly because it's not a vocabulary problem, it's not a grammar problem, it's an identity problem.
And today, we're going to unpack it, because once you understand what's actually happening, the imposter feeling starts to dissolve, and you can start using natural English without losing yourself.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcasts. I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark. Today is for the B2 or C1 learner who's felt fake every time they tried to sound more native, who's wondered if using gonna makes them a sellout, who's felt caught between sounding stiff and sounding pretentious. We're going to give you a completely new way to think about your accent, your identity, and your English voice.
Stay with us. We have the two false choices most learners think they have, the authenticity reframe that changes everything, the 3 layers of accent and which ones actually matter, the permission protocol to start using natural English without guilt, a role play showing the identity shift in real time, and a word tour with 6 powerful B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment question before we begin. Be honest. When you try to sound more native, do you feel fake? Drop a yes or no. We genuinely want to see how universal this feeling is.
Okay, let's talk about who you actually are in English. So, Mark, let's start by naming the trap, because once learners see it clearly, the whole problem starts to make sense.
Yes, the trap is that learners think they have only 2 choices.
Choice 1.
Choice 1, speak in formal, textbook, fully articulated English. Sound clearly non-native, but feel authentic, like yourself.
Choice 2.
Choice 2, speak in natural, reduced, fluent English. Use gonna, wanna, dunno, kinda, what you doing. Sound much closer to native, but feel like a fake, like you're pretending to be someone you're not.
And both choices have costs.
Both have heavy costs. Choice 1 means you stay stuck in textbook English forever. You never sound fully fluent. Native speakers can hear instantly that you're not one of them. You lose the rhythm and the warmth of natural speech.
And choice 2?
Choice 2 costs you something deeper. You feel like you're betraying your real self, like you're trying to be British or American when you're not, like you're erasing your identity to fit in.
And learners often pick choice 1 because the cost of choice 2 feels worse. Sounding non-native is uncomfortable, but feeling like a fraud is unbearable. So they choose to sound stiff rather than feel false. And the problem is this choice keeps them locked at a level below their real potential forever.
Yes, because the false choice is the trap. They've been given 2 bad options, and they're picking the less painful one.
But there is a third option, and almost no one talks about it.
Walk us through it.
The third option is this. You can use natural English reductions without becoming British, without becoming American, without losing your identity, because using gonna doesn't make you American any more than using spaghetti makes you Italian.
Stop. Say that again, because I think this is the central insight of the whole episode.
Using gonna doesn't make you American any more than using spaghetti makes you Italian.
And this is the reframe that changes everything, because the imposter feeling is based on a false belief, the belief that natural English pronunciation is owned by native speakers, that when you use it, you are borrowing something that isn't yours.
When the truth is, English is not owned by any single group. There are roughly 1.5 billion English speakers in the world. The majority of them are not native speakers. English is a global language. The features of natural spoken English, including reductions, are part of the language itself, not the property of any particular nationality.
And here's the deeper truth. When you eat spaghetti, you don't feel Italian. When you wear jeans, you don't feel American. When you drink tea, you don't feel British. You don't become the culture by adopting one piece of it. You just expand who you are.
And language reductions are the same. They're not a costume, they're not a performance, they're simply how spoken English works. And learning how spoken English works is just learning English, not pretending to be someone else.
And this is where it gets liberating, because the imposter feeling assumes that there's a real you who speaks textbook English and a fake you who would speak natural English. But that's not how identity actually works.
What do you mean?
I mean, the real you is not your textbook English. The real you is you, your personality, your humor, your values, your thoughts, your way of seeing the world. The English you happen to use, including how you pronounce words, is just a tool, like the clothes you wear or the food you eat. Tools don't define identity, people do.
So using gonna doesn't change who you are, it just changes the tools you're using.
Exactly. The real you survives perfectly intact whether you say going to or gonna, whether you say want to or wanna. Your personality doesn't live in your pronunciation, it lives in what you say, not how you say it.
And this reframe is the foundation, because once you stop thinking of natural English as becoming someone else, you can adopt it freely. You can stop feeling like a fake. You can start using the actual sounds of spoken English without guilt.
Let's actually break this down further, because I think it helps learners to understand that accent has 3 different layers, and the imposter feeling really only applies to one of them. The other 2 are completely safe.
Yes, 3 layers. Let's go. Layer 1, reductions and connected speech.
This is what we've been talking about. Gonna, wanna, dunno, kinda, what you doing? These are not American or British features. They are features of spoken English itself. Every English speaker, native or not, uses them when they speak naturally. Using them does not make you sound more American or more British, it just makes you sound like someone who speaks English fluently.
In this layer is the most important for sounding fluent. Without it, you sound textbook. With it, you sound like a real speaker. And there's no identity cost. You are not adapting any specific country's accent.
This is the layer to embrace, with no imposter feeling, no guilt, no identity conflict.
Layer 2, rhythm and intonation.
The melody of spoken English, the way native speakers stress certain syllables, drop their voice at the end of statements, raise it at the end of questions, pause between thought groups. This is also a feature of all English, not specific to any one country.
And again, no imposter feeling needed. Rhythm is just how English works. Adopting it doesn't change who you are.
Layer 3, specific country accents.
This is where the imposter feeling should live, if anywhere. Layer 3 is when a learner tries to specifically sound American, or specifically sound British, or specifically sound Australian, adopting the regional vowel sounds, the specific intonation patterns, the cultural speech markers. And here, the imposter feeling makes a little more sense, because you are adopting something that belongs to a specific cultural identity. If you're not American, sounding fully American might feel strange. If you're not British, sounding fully British might feel performative.
And here's the good news. You don't need layer 3. Most learners think they have to sound fully American or fully British to be considered fluent, but you don't. The vast majority of fluent English speakers in the world have their own accent blended with natural English features, and they are completely comprehensible, completely respected, completely fluent.
So the goal is to master layer 1 and layer 2, the features that belong to spoken English itself, and to let layer 3 be optional. You can choose to adopt a specific country accent if you want to, or you can keep your own accent and simply layer on the natural sounds of fluent English. Both are valid.
And once learners understand this, the imposter feeling almost disappears because they realize they were confusing the three layers. They thought using gonna meant becoming American. It doesn't. It means becoming fluent.
Beautiful. Okay, let's give the audience a practical protocol, because understanding the theory is one thing, actually breaking through the imposter feeling in real conversations is another.
Yes, the permission protocol. 3 practices to start using natural English without guilt.
Practice 1. Name the feeling.
When the imposter feeling arrives, name it out loud or in your head. There's the imposter feeling. I know what this is. It's the false belief that using natural English means becoming someone else. It's not true. Naming a feeling is the first step to disarming it.
And this works because the imposter feeling thrives on being invisible. Once you can see it as just a feeling, not a fact, it starts to lose power.
Practice 2. Use one reduction at a time.
Don't try to transform your whole accent overnight. Pick one natural reduction, just one. Maybe gonna, or maybe wanna, whatever feels least scary, and use it deliberately in your speech for a week, just that one feature.
And within that week, the imposter feeling around that specific reduction will start to fade because repetition normalizes. The first time you say gonna feels weird. The 50th time, it feels neutral. The 100th time, it feels natural.
Then you add a second reduction, then a third. Building slowly, each new feature integrates over time until they feel like yours, not borrowed, yours.
Practice 3. Listen to non-native fluent speakers.
This one is huge. Most learners listen to native speakers and feel intimidated, but there is a whole world of non-native English speakers who are completely fluent, who use natural reductions, and who still sound like themselves, with their original accents, their cultural rhythms, their identities intact.
And listening to these speakers teaches your brain that fluent English does not require erasing yourself. It shows you, by example, that you can sound natural without sounding American or British, that fluent English with your own accent is not just possible, it's beautiful.
And it creates new role models, real, achievable, identity-preserving models of what fluency can look like for you specifically.
3 practices. Name the feeling, use one reduction at a time, listen to non-native fluent speakers. Apply these consistently and the imposter feeling fades over a few months, not to 0, but enough that it stops blocking you.
And the relationship with English becomes much healthier. You stop fighting it, you stop performing, you stop feeling like a fake. You just speak as yourself with natural English features.
Okay, let's do a role play. Sophie, set it up.
Yes, I want to show the audience what the identity shift sounds like in real conversation. Same person, same words, 2 versions. First, the textbook version with no reductions, then the natural version with reductions. So learners can hear that the speaker doesn't lose their identity in version 2, they just sound fluent.
Okay, the scene is someone is telling a friend about their weekend plans. Version 1, no reductions.
This weekend, I am going to drive to the coast with my brother. I do not know exactly what we are going to do. We want to relax and try to go to a couple of small restaurants. We are kind of tired from work, so we want to take it easy.
Okay, communicates clearly, grammatically perfect, but sounds slightly stiff, slightly formal. You can hear that this person is a non-native speaker.
Now version 2. Same content, same speaker, with natural reductions.
This weekend, I'm going to drive to the coast with my brother. I don't know exactly what we're going to do. We want to relax and try to hit a couple of small restaurants. We're kind of tired from work, so we want to take it easy.
And listen to that. Same person, same identity, same accent in terms of the vowels and consonants, but the rhythm is now alive, the flow is natural, the energy has lifted, and the speaker hasn't become American or British. They just sound fluent.
The personality is exactly the same. The thoughts are exactly the same. The character is exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the deployment of natural English features, and that change does not require an identity sacrifice.
And this is the whole heart of the episode. You can sound this fluent right now with the English you already have. The only thing standing between you and this version of yourself is the false belief that adopting these features makes you fake.
And once you let go of that belief, the features are yours, available, free.
Word tour?
Word tour.
First word, identity. Identity is the sense of who you are, your core self, the things about you that don't change when you put on different clothes or speak different languages. And one of the most important insights of language learning is that your identity does not live in your pronunciation. It lives much deeper.
For example, many learners worry that adopting natural English features will damage their identity, when in reality, identity is much sturdier than that and survives every kind of surface change. Repeat. Identity.
Identity.
Next, authentic. Authentic means real, genuine, true to yourself. It is one of the most used words in modern conversation, especially in discussions about identity, branding, and self-expression.
And the imposter accent is fundamentally a fear of being inauthentic.
For example, speaking fluent English with natural reductions is not less authentic. It is just a more skilled deployment of who you already are. Repeat. Authentic.
Authentic. Next, to reframe. We've used this in earlier episodes, but it is the central skill in today's topic. To reframe means to look at something from a new angle, to change the meaning you give it. The whole episode is one large reframe, from I am being fake to I am being fluent.
For example, the most powerful tool for breaking the imposter accent is the ability to reframe natural English features as belonging to the language, not to a specific country. Repeat, reframe.
Reframe.
Next, to embrace. To embrace something means to accept it warmly, to take it in as your own, to welcome it without resistance. Learners need to embrace natural English features rather than tolerate them or resist them.
For example, once you stop seeing reductions as performance, you can finally embrace them as part of your real English voice.
Repeat, embrace.
Embrace. Next, to dissolve. We've touched on this one before, but here it captures exactly what happens to the imposter feeling once you understand the reframe. It dissolves, it fades, it loses its power not because you fought it, but because you saw through it.
For example, the imposter feeling does not disappear because you defeated it. It dissolves naturally once you stop believing the story it was telling you. Repeat, dissolve.
Dissolve. And finally, inhibition. Inhibition is a kind of internal restriction, something that holds you back from acting freely. We talk about social inhibitions, emotional inhibitions, and in language learning, the inhibitions that block fluent speech. The imposter accent is a specific kind of a linguistic inhibition.
For example, many advanced learners have technical English skills that are far ahead of their actual performance because inhibition keeps them from using what they know. Repeat. Inhibition.
Inhibition. 6 words today. Identity, authentic, reframe, embrace, dissolve, and inhibition. Every one of these is a word that captures something specific about the inner experience of learning language.
And every one of them is a real, useful, modern English that you'll hear in conversations about psychology, self-development, work, and relationships.
Sophie, one final takeaway for everyone watching, that you are not fake when you use natural English. You are fluent. The imposter feeling is real, but it is based on a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is that natural English is owned by some other country, and that using it means betraying who you are. Neither of those things is true.
Natural English features belong to the language itself. They are not American property. They are not British property. They are how spoken English works, and using them does not erase your identity. It just expands your fluency.
Your accent can stay, your personality stays, your humor stays, your culture stays, your background stays. Nothing about who you are is lost when you start saying gonna and wanna and don't know. You are not becoming someone else. You are just becoming a more fluent version of yourself.
And the version of you who feels fake every time you try to sound natural is not your truest self. That version is just a version trapped in a false belief. Once the belief releases, the imposter feeling releases with it, and you can finally use the English you already have, the way it was meant to be used.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, pick just one natural reduction. Gonna, wanna, don't know, kinda. Whichever one feels least scary, and use it deliberately every chance you get. Out loud, in conversations, in voice notes, in your own internal narration.
And every time the imposter feeling arrives, just name it. There it is. I know what this is. It's not true. And keep going. Use the reduction anyway and watch what happens over the 7 days.
Because by the end of the week, that one feature will feel like yours, not borrowed, not fake, yours.
And once that happens with one feature, the path is clear for all the others.
Drop a comment after 7 days. Tell us which reduction you picked. Tell us how it felt at the start versus how it felt at the end. We want to hear the journey.
Because the imposter accent is one of those problems that almost no one talks about. And just naming it, just hearing that other learners feel it too, is often the beginning of the cure. I'm Mark.
I'm Sophie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to look at the deeper layers of what English actually means for who you are.
Be fluent, stay yourself. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.